Hi, welcome. I'm Kelly Kearney with Starry Constellation Magazine, and with me today, I'm joined by an actress. Fans might know her from popular series like Ozark and Jessica Jones. She's soon to set to star in this new sci-fi series based on a novel by the same name, Earth Abides. Sci-fi fans probably are very familiar with it. Please welcome Jessica Francis Dukes. Thanks so
Thank
much for
you
talking with me.
so very much. Thank you so very much for having me. I'm so excited to talk about this show. So excited to talk to you.
I am excited to talk about this show too. I've read the book, I'm quite familiar with it. So I have really in depth questions for you about this series. I'm so excited about it. You're going to play Emma in this
Mhm.
post apocalyptic series, which I guess some fans who haven't read the book don't know it's post apocalyptic. She's a survivor. She's sort of an Eve to main character Ish's Adam. And she plays a pivotal role in sort of the rebuilding of society. What
Absolutely.
aspects of her character were you most excited to explore?
When I first read this script, the immediate thing that jumped in my mind was I'm such a fan of post-apocalyptic world. I'm such a fan of end of the world, disaster strikes movies and TV shows. And so I was like, oh, perfect. This is great. And then when I started to read Todd Carmanicki's writing and his adaptation of this book, I fell in love. I fell in love with the way he expressed the world, the way he showed the world, the way he, communicated the world. And so immediately I was hooked. And then when I saw Emma and I got to sort of read her scene, I stopped immediately once her first scene was done. And I read a little bit of the book. And I was just in love with her strength. I was in love with her power. I was in love with her, the amount of different sides of her, the levels, and she's a hunter, she's a mother,
Yeah.
so many different things. And to play such a multi-layered woman is just a joy. And I just knew immediately. I was like, it's a yes for me.
So yes, for you. And you mentioned the book was written by George R. Stewart, 1949. It was ahead of its time when it came out. It included themes like humanity's destruction of the planet, which we're living through now, interracial marriage, which was not something that was legal or was certainly frowned upon at the time, and autism, which is something that didn't have a word for it back then, but was certainly a theme in the book. Could you
Absolutely.
elaborate on how this series navigates those themes to resonate with the modern audiences, particularly through challenges your character faces, which I think is an important part of the book. Because your character, as you are a Black woman, and Ish is a white man during the time, it was not as frowned upon.
Yeah.
So, talk a little bit about how that's been modernized for this series.
One of the things that I loved about the book was how the writer talked about Emma. And I quickly realized that she was a Black woman. And the fact that it was written in 1949, I was like, this is so incredibly progressive to decide that your new Eve is this Black woman. And I was like, well, if it's progressive then, and if this writer is taking these chances then who is this Black woman in 2024? And if she is, all those things that she is in the book, he calls her Demeter, he calls her Isis, he calls her, mother of the earth, he calls her mother of nations. She's this sort of half angel, half human type of being. And he almost writes her as inhuman. And so I was like, this woman is epic. And who is that in 2024? And so one of the beautiful things that the creators, the producers, I mean, Michael Phillips has had the rights to this book since 1970. So he has just been working so hard to get this story told. And then when he finally got the right group of people to do it, it was a team that I think it was one of those things where it's like you have all the right people in the right place at the right time, and they go, this is the type of story we want to tell, these are the type of people we want you to meet, and we want to take what it was then and make it even more now. So we're going to make Emma stronger, we're going to make her more powerful, we're going to make her smart, we're going to make her all these things that in 1949 there's a lot of things in the book that are of the period. You can tell
Yeah.
that the way Ish talks about women, the way Ish talks about you know uh, uh, people's intelligence and different things like that. we've taken it to 2024, so Emma and Ish are absolutely equal in this show. The women and the men are absolutely equal. We are, just a community that is absolutely outstanding. And oh, I don't know if I can say that. I don't know when this comes out. So me and Ish, I'll just stick to me and Ish. Sorry. um, but I think like the best thing for me that I was excited to play with was how many roles you get to play that have you get to carry a rifle and at the
Yeah.
same time be this loving creature that is full of peace and one with the earth and all these things, but will absolutely protect herself and those she loves. So it was just a joy to me to take on this role, and the way we go into the future is absolutely out of this world. It's not the post-apocalyptic world that you're familiar with, and
Right.
I'm so excited about it.
Well, in the story, like you mentioned, Emma, she's fearless, she's strong, she's maternal. Like you said, she's referred to as the mother of nations. Was there anything you added to your portrayal of Emma that wasn't initially there in the script?
Not really. And
On page.
it was such a brilliant script. It's such a beautiful book. I had everything that I needed in the text. But at the same time, I had to find that within myself. Where does that exist within me? She's an earth woman. She's one with the earth. I love crystals and stones and Zen and feng shui and all those things. So I brought that to it. Without and even my first costume fitting, there were crystals and stones everywhere for my jewelry, and I was like, this is perfect. Yeah, I would love to wear tiger's eye. I would love to wear all these things that I felt were powerful for her. If she's one with the earth, that means she's going to have Palo Santo in the house. She's going to have sage. She's going to have all these things that you'll see throughout episode 2. If you notice, her jewelry is all crystals and stuff. She's a woman of energy, earth, love, hope, and drive. And I just love her.
Well, that's interesting because a lot of actors they find that similarity in their character, and that's where they grow in stepping into those shoes. So that's interesting that you immediately kind of put your feet in the ground of her a little bit. She's a mother of nations. She's an earth mother. That makes a lot of sense. We talked about Ish. Let's talk about your co-star who plays Ish, Alexander Ludwig. What has it been like working with him and building this important relationship on screen? Because it's really it's a main part of this series is how these two people come together and rebuild or create something new from what was left behind.
Yeah, I read the book, I read the script, I had my first Zoom meeting, and I still didn't know who Ish was. And
Mm.
I was like, don't tell me, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I want to meet him on day one. Because Emma doesn't know him, I don't want to know him. I don't want to know who it is. And then, of course, like 2 weeks before we start, they announce who's playing him. And I was like, shoot, now I know. But I was like, okay, let me just not, I still put it to the side. I said, I don't want to, I just want to, get there day one and meet Ish. And Alex was such an open person and came right in and was like, where's my wife? And I was like, okay, let's go. And the both of us were so open. The both of us were so full of joy and hard work and drive and heart. And it was just a perfect duo. And we knew kind of immediately, I can only speak for myself. I knew immediately when we first met, the first scene that we did was the scene that you'll see where they're in the shopping center and they're getting food, and these are complete strangers. Both of them think they're the last people alive.
Yeah.
And to see another person after months of just living in that existence, it's sort of this like, I don't know what to even say to you. I don't know what to even do with you. What's your story? And what
Right.
I love about that is these are two people that could have possibly walked past each other in the real world before anything happened and never saw each other. But for some reason, these two were chosen to start the new world. And Emma asks Ish, why us? And I also asked Alex, why us? This is a special story to tell, special two people to play. And the amount of work that the both of us did for those episodes, it was just a joy to do it with him. He works so hard and I work so hard. So there was never a day where there was like you're somebody's pulling up it's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're gonna do that? Oh, well, we were just like two tigers ready to go. And it was so much fun. He was fire and electricity, and I was grounded earth, and it was just the perfect match. And
Well,
and I
that's
was like, it's the perfect ish. And he was like,
yeah.
it's the perfect Emma.
That's the perfect dynamic for those characters because Emma is in a lot of ways his foundation is his steady his inspiration. He doesn't always make the right decisions, and he needs the advice of his wife, who I think sees clearly in a different way. That reminds me of this question I wanted to ask you. Do you think Emma would have made a better leader than Ish? What qualities does she possess, do you think, that contribute to her leadership?
They lead together.
Yeah.
I think that they are exactly both leaders, because what you'll see throughout the series, which I think is a beautiful thing about these two, he doesn't necessarily process things without her.
Right.
You know, we have our moments where he does his thing and she does her thing. But they always have this sort of we're in this together mentality. And, you know, Ish and Emma are polar opposites. And I think that's perfect. And I think eventually, they have to understand whose strengths work when. They have to allow one to be right. Anybody in a relationship and a marriage knows it's like, okay, we got to come in this equal, and I have opinions, you have opinions, I have a way in which I want to start this new world, you have a way in which you want to start this new world. We got to figure this out together. A lot of times Emma's like, you're wrong, but
Right.
she wants to be one with the earth, and Ish wants to hold on to what we had. And Emma
Right.
is like, we don't have that anymore. All of that is gone. Everything we know is gone. So what is left? It's us and the earth. We have to be one with the earth. She teaches them how to plant. She teaches them how to hunt. She teaches them. And what I love about that is this woman is teaching this man how to survive. And that is epic.
Yeah, it's very female forward.
Yes.
1949, the book was, and I'm sure that this is going to just push that to a new level.
Yeah.
One of the main themes in the story is the destruction of modern society and how to, if at all, rebuild it, if we even should rebuild it. What modern invention could you never live without? And has working on this show kind of made you appreciative more of it?
Working on this show with this group of people, with this writing, playing this role, it reintroduced me to myself. And what I mean by that is I had to process what things I don't need. I had to process what things I can do without. I had to process what's actually important. Um, and all of us at some point that worked on the show, crew, director, producer, writer, we all had this moment where we just felt like we were in this beautiful bubble of simplicity with goats and chickens and all these things around us, and a big old bison in the middle of the road, and just nature.
Yeah.
And I started to think about that question of like, what couldn't I do without? And I realized that the answer is exactly what the show teaches, and that's people, love, home, family, being able to live every day and love every day and be in the earth is that's after doing this show, that's my answer.
Oh, it's a profound answer, and I think probably one of the points of the series is what's the most important in this life, and what's worth rebuilding, and
Right,
what's
right,
worth focusing on.
right.
Is there an episode that you did or a scene that you did you're especially proud of, you hope fans connect with, without spoiling anything, but just like maybe a little bit of a tease of what you hope fans connect with?
I can honestly say the entire journey. I hate to not tell you one scene, but it's the entire journey from the time the show starts to the time the show, wraps up. It is one long epic journey of survival, of love, of hope, and to play all the things that they go through together to figure out how to rebuild and the work as an artist to dissect all of that,
Yeah.
it every single moment, every single day, sometimes 14 hours a day, 12 hours a day was epic. So I can't wait till everyone sees every single second of this piece. I know it's going to change people. I know it's going to give people hope. It's going to make people process what things are important to them. It's going to make people call their family, and it's going to make people, look within themselves and find their power and their, hopefully love of the earth.
Yeah, and I hope they connect with your character because I think it's a really important character in both literature and also now going to be on television. We mentioned a little bit about apocalyptic television, how popular it is these days. Apocalyptic sci-fi, they're everywhere. We love them. Series like The Walking Dead and The Last of Us. What sets this show apart from those? That it's going to, attract fans to it.
They said, one of the biggest things that I was wondering, I was like, are people going to realize the true threat? The threat is us in this
Yeah.
earth abides. The threat is people, and the things that we hold on to. The threat is, Mother Nature is sick of us. Mother Nature is sick of it. And she's just like, get off of me, except for you.
Mm-hmm,
And you.
mm-hmm.
And so it's like, it is a heart story. It's a human story. It's almost, I always say, it's not the end of the world, it's the beginning of the new world. And what does that look like when all that other stuff is gone?
Yeah, and how our relationships between humans, each other, how all of those things that kept us separated are
Yes,
just gone, and now
absolutely.
it's more like working together. And things that divide us no longer stay with us when society sort of breaks down. That's the most fascinating part of that book, and that's the most, I think, going to be the most fascinating to see how you guys recreate that for modern times and how it still affects in the same way. Certainly, that's the part I'm looking forward to the most. We've also learned you've joined the cast of The Gilded Age. Congratulations.
Thank
You're going
you
to be a
so very
recurring
much.
role. Yeah,
Thank you.
without spoiling anything, obviously, can't spoil anything. What can you say about your character or tease us about your character for this third season that's set to come out?
I play Athena Trumbo, and she's the cousin to Audra McDonald's Dorothy. So we get a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more into another side of the world in the next season. So I'm very excited to join. It's a stellar cast. It's a cast of legends coming from the theater, being a theater woman, to be in the room with these people that have informed my career, that have informed my style of acting. Some of them, it was just an epic journey. And I still have a little bit more to do. So I'm very happy to be a part of this show.
Well, I can't wait to see that. Obviously, cousins from Cousins with Audra McDonald. If you're, a theater person, that is
I
amazing. I'm
was
sure
so
you were
regular. I acted so regular every day. I was so proud of myself. But inside, I was like,
freaking out, right?
yeah,
Freaking
absolutely.
out. I'm sure she was gracious and wonderful and
It was
just the best scene
beautiful.
partner.
Every single person on set was. It was a wonderful place to go, especially right after Earth Abides. I left Vancouver and 2 days later had a fitting for Gilded Age. So I had no break. It was right in, and everybody was just like, hey, welcome, be a part of the family.
Oh,
It was wonderful.
that's so wonderful. Well, what would you like to say to those fans who have followed you through your projects, are going to watch Earth Abides, love it, and can't wait to see you at the Gilded Age? What would you like to say to those people?
I would like to say, get ready. This is hopefully going to be a just a different vibe than what we're used to. And I love this show so much. I love the writing. I love the team. Every single person on Earth Abides worked so hard to bring this to the world. And it's something that we need to see right now. It's something that we need to learn from right now. And it's something that we need to implement into our lives right now, or else we're going to end up in a really bad zone. So I can't wait for people to come on the ride. Earth Abides December 2nd, I believe, or 1st. I can't
Oh,
remember.
I was told it was going to be in December. I wasn't given a date, so first or
Uh-uh.
second, I hope.
I think that's what they said on online, but I'm going by the trades or whatever. But it's going to be so good. I'm so thankful. Everybody worked so hard, and we're just so ready to bring this story to you all.
Well, I know I'm excited about it. The fans are going to be excited about it. Fans, if you want to catch Jessica and Earth Abides when it premieres, it's going to be streaming on MGM Plus. So get that streaming app and look for it in December. Maybe the first, maybe the second. Definitely look for it. It's a fantastic book. Also, I would suggest picking up the book as well and reading that as well as a side by side when you're watching
Wait,
the
don't read
show.
the book first. Read the book after.
Read the book after. Read the book after. Well, thank you so much, Jessica. It was wonderful talking to you. It's been a pleasure, and I'm really looking forward to the series.
Thank you so very much. This has been an honor doing this and playing this role, working with these people, and a wonderful talking to you. Thank you.